Judy. OMG. Profiteering, it's a profiteering. I've never seen such a lucrative business. 30 million, 11 times in one game. It became 330 million. If gambling was a woman, I would definitely fall in love with her. Warren kept smirking at him. 11 times. Oh my God, I should have pressed more. I should have pressed all my net worth. Eric, don't you only have $1,000? Warren, hey, there's actually a little bit left. I'm worried about losing it all, and now it seems that my worries are unnecessary, Eric. You're fucking amazing. Looking at this group of guys, Eric hurriedly put out the fire for them. He knew how harmful pornography, gambling, and drugs were. As for Huang, it is nothing to the rich. After all, the rich have a lot of time and money to maintain their bodies, so I say that I am not the same as gambling drugs. Eric, be sober. Gambling is just a crooked way. Even if you can win once in a while, no one can guarantee that you will win all the time. So this is the only time because I need to build up the original money quickly, but I want you to remember that you will lose if you gamble for a long time. Whoever touches gambling after this World Cup is no longer my Eric Cooper friend. Eric was very serious, and he promised to do what he said. However, these sworn friends are not ordinary people, and with their intelligence, Eric believes that they will know how to do it. In 2 games, in just 1 week, Eric's fortune reached a staggering $500 million, which was like a dream. In 2002, it was $500 million, which is more than the wealth of the vast majority of Hollywood stars. Even in 20 years, $500 million is enough to invest in 2 Hollywood blockbusters, the kind of big stars and big productions. And now, for example, Sony's Spider-Man, although it has been released for a month, there are still a small number of theaters that have not been painted, and the cost of this superhero blockbuster is less than $140 million. MGM's Wind Whisperer, a war blockbuster, has a production cost of $130 million. Although this cost is injected with water, the component of water injection is definitely not large because they are all listed companies and the eyes of shareholders are staring at it, and what is even more terrible is that the tax bureau wants to audit the accounts. If you lie nonsense about the cost and exaggerate it by 3 or 5 times, when the tax bureau comes to the door, you will wait to cry to death. In the United States, don't mess with the tax office. Even if Hollywood dares to fool Wall Street, it does not dare to fool the tax office. In addition to the production cost, plus a certain amount of publicity and distribution costs, these are the 2 major parts of the cost of releasing a movie. Eric estimates that the total cost of Spider-Man and Wind Talker should fluctuate around $180 million. However, this is relative to the cost of the average filmmaker's needs, and if Eric is involved in the production of the whole process, the cost can be reduced by at least $30 million to $40 million US. Because there are a lot of waste drafts in the filming process, such as a 120-minute movie, the shooting time behind it may exceed 1,000 minutes, and finally edited into what the audience sees. As a time traveler, Eric knows very well what the final piece of each film should look like, so the extra shooting can be completely omitted. This will greatly shorten the production cycle, which can not only reduce costs, but also release the film in advance, which is his advantage. However, although $500 million is enough for him to shoot a few blockbuster films, there is still a huge gap in the funds to buy MGM, and he needs more. But Will can't be killed. The last cut of $190 million has halved the profits of many small spinach companies in a few days. This time, 330 million yuan was cut, and even if it is a large spinach company such as Pinnacle and Ladbrokes, I am afraid that the profits will drop sharply. As for those small companies, it would be nice to have a bottom of profits left. These companies have to breathe a sigh of relief, or the game won't be able to continue. Eric, it's still the old rule. Don't bet any more these days, and I'll pay for all your food, drink, and entertainment. But to keep a low profile, We've had two big upsets in a row, and I'm afraid it's alarmed some casinos, so be careful anyway. Time flies, and soon on June 14th, there are two important things to do today. One is that The Wind Whisperer has been released, and Eric plans to go to the cinema to see it, so he should have fun watching it. The second is that there is an important match today, South Korea against Portugal. That's right, the stick is finally going to exert its strength, and the biggest shady curtain of the 2002 World Cup is about to kick off. At the movie theater, Eric walked in alone, asked for a soda popcorn, and silently waited for the movie to open. During this period, he secretly observed the front desk and found that the vast majority of those who chose Wind Whisperer were men. Many of them were companions of several buddies, and there were very few couples or girls. Next to him, a black buddy was muttering to his companions, "I like John Woo's style. Nicolas Cage will be the god of war on the battlefield and send all the enemies to hell." Another black buddy shows his racial talent. Bullets, white pigeons, explosions, bleeding, bang, bang. A white office worker not far away discussed John Woo with his companions. "I've watched Changing Face, Mission Impossible 2, Hot Hand Detective. I love this guy's movie, and I hope this time will also allow me to enjoy a violent blockbuster. The work is so tiring, and I need to relax." Everyone around him has this opinion, but Eric knows that they are going to be disappointed, and what the audience wants to see is a cool film of personal heroism, which is also the impression that John Woo left on the public, but Wind Whisperer is obviously not. This is an Oriental film dressed in the skin of Hollywood, which stands out not for personal heroism at all, but for dedication to the country. It's Indians dedicated to the United States, and it's obviously too early to do this in 2002. Don't talk about 2002, even if it's 2022, at most it's black dedication. When will it be your turn to be an Indian? Do you have $0 to buy? Do you have Black Lives expensive? Far from brother. Entering the screening room, the lights dimmed, and the movie officially began. Eric's attention is sometimes on the big screen, sometimes on the surrounding audience, although Nicolas Cage's acting skills are still excellent, but the plot is really full of slots. By the middle of the movie, many viewers were already frowning, which was completely different from what they imagined. There has been a phenomenon of some viewers going to the toilet, and some have simply gone away, and the appeal of the movie can be imagined. Needless to say, tomorrow there will be a large area of media viewers who will criticize and write. Amid the audience's scolding and denunciation, Eric happily walked out of the cinema. The Wind Whisperer is dead, and his third leak should be cut. Back home, South Korea's match against Portugal was over, and as I remember it, Portugal were sent off by 2. The South Korean team defeated Portugal with 12 players and 9 people, and Portugal of the golden generation did not qualify in the final group stage and hated the Northwest. Now I hope that the holiday will end soon, and the editor will not sign a letter after work. Seeking collection and follow-up reading is the standard of editorial judgment.